Welcome to North Texas Revealed. Built in 1880, Collin County Prison housed the final days of William EZELL Stepp in 1922. He watched from a window of his prison cell the construction of a temporary scaffold, which would be the site of his execution. Only 100 selected citizens could view the event in person. On November 17, 1922, EZELL protested his innocence, but dutifully stepped off the platform and was pronounced dead at 11:22 a.m.
We interrupt this program to bring you an important news bulletin. Body of Hardy Mills, 32, father of 4, was found in an abandoned well on the Will Baxter Farm, northwest of McKinney.
Baxter was out looking over his cotton, and on returning, found his well cover laying several feet next to the well. Peering down into the well, he could see the form of a head in the water below.
I immediately contacted the sheriff, telling him that something was amiss. I said, I think there might be something down in the well.
Sheriff Ed Blakeman and Deputy Sheriff Harry White accompanied Baxter back to his well in Bloomdale. After some effort, the three managed to pull the object up from the well.
We had some difficulty in getting the body out of its watery grave. Concrete curb over the well was about 16 inches across, and the curb had to be broken before the body could be extracted.
The body of Mills had been weighed down with a big piece of railroad iron, and it had been wrapped with a net of baling wire. Covering the head was an old automobile top boot. The body was recognized to be that of Hardy Mills. Sheriff Blakeman immediately apprehended EZELL Stepp on a charge of murder, and he and Deputy Harry White picked up his nephew, Arlie Stepp, from his home in southeast McKinney, charging him with the same. Both were taken to the Dallas County Jail in fear that a mob would form in McKinney.
Judge Frank E. Wilcox will preside over the district court on Monday. Grand jury will be impaneled to hear the evidence collected in the Hardy Mills murder. Sheriff Blakeman and his deputies have been following every lead as to who may have committed this deplorable tragedy. Attorney A.M. Wolfer, Brady Chandler, L.J. Truitt, and Sam Niederle have employed to assist in the prosecution following expected indictment from the coming grand jury inquiry. Several key witnesses were examined by the district attorney here yesterday, including Mrs. Stepp, wife of EZELL Stepp, who was arrested immediately after the body had been discovered in the old abandoned well. Others include son-in-law Mose Louder and 2 young men from Arkansas who were picking cotton for Stepp.
EZELL Stepp and nephew Arlie Stepp were both questioned in the Dallas County Jail yesterday by A.M. Wolfer, while the others were questioned in McKinney. Both EZELL and Arlie were both tight-lipped upon questioning. When son-in-law Mose Louder was shown the big railroad iron that had been tied to Mr. Mills' legs, he said, "This is just like the one EZELL Stepp had at his home." Expert analysis found spots of blood on clothing presented as evidence in the case, as well as spots found in the car of Arlie Stepp, who had been arrested in the case and charged with the murder of Mills. This is the car which officers say was driven by Arlie Stepp to the home of his uncle EZELL Stepp late Thursday night, September 1st, leaving there early Friday morning, September 2nd, the same day Mills disappeared. Sheriff Ed Blakeman and his deputy W.F. Bishop secured EZELL and Arlie Stepp in Dallas and transported them back to the prison in McKinney Friday night. Graveside services were conducted at the Corinth Cemetery by Dr. E.B. Fincher of McKinney. One attendee said,
"There's a long line of cars in the funeral procession from Massey's to Corinth. Artie was buried beside his 4-year-old daughter."
Hardy Clifton Mills, 35, left behind his wife and 3 children.
Artie's infant son, who passed in 1913, is also buried here.
On Sunday, September 18th, Sheriff Blakeman, deputies, and citizens began bailing water from the abandoned well of Mr. Baxter at Bloomdale.
We've extracted about 12 feet of water so far, but 6 or 7 feet still needs to be removed. About 1,500 people gathered here this morning while the work was going on. We are searching this and nearby wells for any evidence connected to this case.
Monday, September 20th, Bernie Neely was lowered down into the well to examine its contents. After careful examination of the well, along with several buckets of rocks, baling wire, and barbed wire, Bernie said,
I found rope, human hair, and skin from 2 human hands with fingernails still attached.
Sheriff Blakeman received the first bucket to arrive up top, containing the left hand. The next bucket contained the right.
I saw this material come up out of the well and wondered if it was part of another body.
However, after the matter was brought to the attention of the undertaker, Glenn Massey,
it was noted in the original examination of the body that the fingernails were missing. It is most likely the skin detached from the body because of the long period of time before the body was found in the well.
This just in. Arlie Stepp was taken this morning to EZELL STEPP farm by Sheriff Ed Blakeman and Deputy Harry White. Stepp led officers to the spot where the body of Hardy Mills lay all day Friday, and from which place it was removed Friday night.
EZELL STEPP murdered Hardy Mills early in the morning of September 2nd.
The act was committed in a cornfield about 90 yards from the road, 300 yards from EZELL's home.
Arlie Stepp will be used as an accomplice witness.
Arlie's lengthy statement was recorded by County Attorney Wolford, confessing to his part in the crime and implicating EZELL STEPP as the man who killed Hardy Mills.
I didn't know anything about the murder of Mills until late Friday evening. EZELL told me I must help him hide the body.
Arlie denied any connection with the crime, except for aiding his uncle in disposing of the body.
We decided on the old well because it was not being used. It probably wouldn't be used until next threshing season.
Under the cover of darkness, the body of Mills was removed from the cornfield, placed in Arlie's car, and moved to the old well. It was reported that the deadly weapon used by EZELL STEPP to murder Hardy Mills was an old iHo.
I don't know why my uncle killed the man, but I helped hide the body because my uncle instructed me to do so.
Both Arlie Stepp and EZELL STEPP are being held on murder charges in the Collin County Prison. EZELL in general population on the first floor. His nephew Arlie is being held on the second floor, with no other prisoners on that floor. No access to interview Arlie has been given to the press, for fear that too much publicity might result in a probable change of venue, should an indictment be handed down and they go to trial.
We have a confession by Arlie Stepp. Tuesday morning, he admitted to the crime, and those statements have been written by and signed by Arlie Stepp. The admission will be presented to the grand jury today.
Hardy Mills worked as a day laborer in McKinney. His home was on the EZELL STEPP farm, 4 miles northwest of the city. Each day he would leave for work well before sunrise. On Friday of last week, September 2nd, Mills did not return home that evening. Though his wife was concerned, he had convinced herself that he must have stayed in McKinney. Another day and night passed with no sign of her husband. By Sunday morning, September 4th, she knew something was wrong.
It was then that I started spreading the news of my husband's mysterious disappearance.
It is believed that Hardy Mills was killed Friday morning, September 2nd, shortly after leaving home, some half-mile from the EZELL STEPP farm.
Stay tuned now for the rest of the story.
Thanks for watching, and remember to like and subscribe.